come up with solutions to those challenges. And the last 25% is implementation of those solutions. Challenges, there were many, which I'll address, which I'll identify later on. But one of the biggest challenges was that for the last 10 plus years, there was no fisheries development commissioner in Pakistan. A country with a coastline of 1,050 plus kilometers, warm waters, the whole world wants to have access to this coastline. For obvious reasons, we had no fisheries development commissioner. So finally, this is what happens if you get a professional like Dr. Safia Mushtaq. And we went through the process of interviews, and I'm very happy to say that she's doing a brilliant job. And thank you, Safia. And I hope that under your leadership, we will sort of fix this neglected sector, which only contributes 1% of Pakistan's GDP. With the kind of resources we have, I think it should contribute a lot more, especially in the export sector, because Pakistanis don't eat a lot of fish. Our per capita fish consumption is about 1.5 kilos, whereas globally I think it's 15, 16, even in some countries even more. So we don't eat a lot of fish, especially from the ocean. So this sector can really help Pakistan bridge the gap and help us in exporting fish. But then again, we have faced with challenges which I'm going to once again address later. And interestingly, in my speech at IMO, I did some research before speaking there, because it's such a sort of learned audience, more learned than me, just like here. I was reading the Quran, and I researched through the Quran, because now Google gives you a lot of, you can find a lot of things. And I realized that the Holy Scripture, the book of God, Quran, that we all believe in, describes the blue economy many times. And allow me to just quote one verse, which I also quoted at the IMO, from Surah Al-Nahl. And I'll speak it in English. And one of my other observations was that whenever, in all functions, especially whenever you recite an ayat in Arabic, please make sure the translation follows right after that, because half of the people, even from Pakistan, don't understand what is being said. But let me translate it in English. It is Allah who has made the sea subject, that you may eat thereof flesh that is fresh and tender, and that you may extract from it ornaments to wear. And though you see ships therein plough the waves, that you may seek thus of the bounty of Allah, and that you may be grateful. This is just one. And if you just Google ships in Quran or fish in Quran, you will find many times that seas and ships and fish and the advantages of the sea mentioned, and how mankind can take advantage of it. So this concept of blue economy is quite old. It's just that we haven't researched on it. It's there. It's just that now we are sort of trying to figuring out what actually blue economy is. You talk about digital economy and industrial economy and agriculture economy and all sorts of economy. Blue economy is close to 23 trillion, if not more, globally. But we are just now starting to realize, especially in a country like Pakistan, where it had been neglected in the past, but we are now sort of bringing all of these things together to make sure that we take advantage of all our resources that we have. As I said, so the challenges. Being a member of the IOTC, Pakistan must and is fully committed to fulfill all the obligations in the future. And I'll tell you the 4 big challenges well, 5 big challenges that I faced, because deep sea fishing or marine fishing comes under the Ministry of Maritime Affairs. So when I took over, there were many challenges, but 5 challenges here. One of them was addressed. We didn't have a Fisheries Development Commission. Now we have. We still have 4 left. The biggest challenge I face is the human resource capacity in this sector. Although fishing has been done for hundreds of years on our coast, but they haven't advanced with time. So they're still using the old primitive methods only because nobody actually sat down and helped build capacity for our fishermen, be it coastal or deep sea. Number 2, the second challenge. The second challenge I face as a federal minister is the tug of war between provinces and federation and the federal government. Especially in the fisheries, because deep sea fishing is a federal subject, but fisheries is a provincial subject. So up to 12 nautical miles is the jurisdiction of the province, and therefore fisheries is under them. If they develop their capacity, all of us will benefit. I can't develop their capacity because then it is sort of taken as intrusion in their domain. And if you have 2 separate political parties, you know, in one province led by one party and the federation is another party, then the problem magnifies. So, but we're still trying. We have to, it's politics, and that's the beauty of man. There are 3 people, there'll be politics. So we have to work within these challenges. The third biggest challenge that I faced, and I have to admit that I was also novice. I had no idea when I was asked to take this job by the Prime Minister about this sector, about the maritime sector by itself. But I have come to realize and I realized this 3-4 weeks after being minister, but now the foundation, I'm very clear that if we actually concentrate on this sector, on the marine sector, Pakistan's economic woes can actually come to a halt. In fact, Pakistan can go beyond and become a real economic tiger that it's supposed to be. Globally, I see the way how the subject of marine or maritime has benefited countries, be it through shipping or through ports or through coastal real estate development or through fishing or through infrastructure. I mean, and I keep giving this at the cost of repeating myself, you know, you compare KPT with the Port of New York. You know, KPT was built, you know, the Act came in 1887, and we're still on the same Act, by the way. It's impossible to make changes. But Manhattan is all developed by the New Jersey Port Authority. And when they realized that the real estate value of the island had gone through the roof, they built the New Jersey port and moved all the warehousing and industrial sector over there and got into real estate. So much so that the fateful Twin Towers were also owned by the New York, New Jersey Port Authority. And so are the 4 airports, LaGuardia, JFK, Newark and Stalwart. And so are the bridges. And so are the tunnels, Holland Tunnel, Lincoln Tunnel. All of this is all owned by them. And so are the warehouses. And so managing the ports is just one aspect of their revenue. I mean, I was looking at I think 16, 17, out of the $5.2 billion of revenue that they had, 35% was just from rental yield. And here we have KPT, owns half the city of Karachi, and 80% of his land is encroached over the years. Where we could have built such a beautiful city, we've encroached it. So therefore, we face these challenges. So the third biggest challenge that I faced was the lack of understanding at all government levels on how to handle the subject of maritime, and marine fishing is part of maritime. And the fourth challenge that I faced which the media is here. They can vouch for it, that for 44 days last year, every single day I was on the media and talking about one damn problem, excuse my word. It is pollution in my ocean. It is just not only damaging the marine life, it is damaging to humans. The pollution, especially in the province of Sindh, has destroyed our coastal belt. 4-5 nautical miles, the color of water, you go and the color of water is different. Because we have failed to treat the water that goes in the ocean. The treatment plants don't work. Indus River, one of the most beautiful rivers in the world, if you go up and down, is the second most polluted river with regard to plastics. It is our problem. We have to fix this. Nobody's going to come from outside to fix it. We have to fix it as a nation, as Pakistanis. So these are the 4 big challenges that are left. And, you know, one thing we learned, because I'm a student, my student of politics, and my teacher has been the Prime Minister Imran Khan for 20 odd years. One thing we've learned from him: never shy away from challenges. In fact, you should be happy that you have a challenge, because then you sort of work and then you rise to the occasion. I want to thank the FAO, who has now provided us the opportunity or given us a platform or to our fishermen to get away from this gill netting nonsense and to go into this into the long liner, the proper mode of catching a fish. Because when they use gill nets, they destroy the whole catch. In fact, some of our fishermen, and PMSA is coming hard on them, some of our fishermen use, I call them mosquito nets, and they catch everything. We must address these issues internally. And I'm sure that there are other regions in the world where they have these problems, and therefore, for all of you here, I hope that you all can exchange ideas on how such challenges were addressed in your parts of the world, and maybe we can learn from them. And some of the challenges we've addressed, you can learn from us. Whatever discussions are held here, I hope they are just not formalities, but real hardcore solutions are provided, so all of us can benefit from it. And once again, I want to thank all of you for giving us the opportunity to host you and to hold this conference in Pakistan for the first time. I especially want to thank my team, who, when they came up with the idea the first time, my one question was, are you prepared? Can you do it? Are you ready? And Safia, once again, and her team kept pushing me, and here we are. Once again, thank you very much. Anything that I can do for you, my numbers are available with them. Welcome to Pakistan, and let's fix the tuna catch. Assalamu alaikum.